Cars you'll regret. Cars you'll regret buying. Cars you'll regret buying. Cars you'll regret buying. Cars you'll regret buying. Try saying that 3 times, bro. Cars you'll regret buying. All right, let's see.
I'm just guessing. Now, this is pure speculation that when you make the second biggest purchase of your life, you don't want to regret it. But unfortunately, there are so many people that do this so
funny because one of the cars that I've had is on this list.
Often people will buy the second biggest purchase of their life, a car, and then instantly regret it. And it's sad. It really breaks my heart to see that. So today we are going over the most regrettable cars, the cars that you will buy in.
Why the fuck is there a kid on the bottom right?
Instantly regret so that you know to avoid them. Because yeah, my little heart can't handle seeing any more people buy cars they regret. You should be buying cars that you will love for a long time. So let's get into the video. What's that smell? Oh, it's 40K subscribers. We are so close. We are so close. Okay. So by March 1st, I want to wake up March 1st. All right. New month, new me, new 10,000th of a subscriber. What? 40K subs. We need luxury sedan. And because it's the 2006 to I think 2011 model years of the BMW 3 Series, which is their compact luxury sedan. And because it is a 15-year-old German luxury sedan, it still has kind of that swag, that status of a BMW, but it has gotten pretty cheap, meaning it is targeted heavily by kids my age, Gen Zers, and this is bad. A Gen Z guy like myself will think, man, I gotta impress the ladies somehow, and think, man, BMW, that's it, a car, because that definitely gets women. And they'll pull up some random marketplace meetup, 6K in hand, mid-taper fade, Stussy hoodie, and buy that 3 Series, only to make one of the biggest mistakes of their life. Now, a BMW 3 Series does not have to be unreliable, okay? Whether you get the 328 or the 3...
I feel like it's good as long as you get a 328 with less than like 120,000 miles. Anything over that, I wouldn't advise buying. Because, bro, at a certain point, I mean, I don't know, it just depends.
35 or any of the other variants, it does not have to be unreliable. But what happens with these types of complicated German cars is when they aren't diligently maintained, that's when they can be super unreliable. That's when they can break down, and then those breakdowns can be catastrophic on the wallet. Now you're thinking, James, you idiot, why don't I just get one that's been properly maintained? Listen. As I said before, these cars are Gen Z magnets, meaning they get passed around by Gen Z dudes more often than the group Geek Bar. Because when you pull up to buy that reasonably priced E90, chances are you're buying it from a kid named Sawyer. And Sawyer probably bought it from a kid named Tyler. And Tyler probably bought it from Connor. And Connor probably bought it from Tanner. You see the issue? These cars are getting passed around by owners that will not treat them well, and then they will be brought to you at a reasonable price until something blows. If something blows and you're not diligent about preventative maintenance, you're screwed financially. Just for that, I'm going to put this in bad idea. Next up, we have the Jeep Wrangler of any generation. Now, these get a lot of...
Jeep Wrangler, I don't know shit about Jeep Wranglers. I just know they handle like ass. And that the motor shit, I don't know.
Love because of how cool they look and how capable they are off-road. But mostly the first one, because none of the people buying Jeep Wranglers actually take them off-road. So then what you're left with is an on-road vehicle that has a terrible driving experience, guzzles gas, and is not reliable. Meaning there's really no reasons to buy these.
Bro, they dead ass feel like shit. They drive like absolute dog ass.
Tempted by the, the fun looks and the go anywhere capability, but you're never going to use that go anywhere capability, and the looks fade, right? So what you're left with is a bad car. There's no other way of putting it. You're left with a bad car. And on top of that, they're still getting constantly hyped no matter what generation you go for, so they're going to be overpriced, whether they're new or 20 years old. So overall, just a terrible idea. If you don't want to take my word for it, go test drive one. And if you can't find one to test drive, go to your local John Deere dealership. Ask for something that will be able to, plow your buckwheat. See how that drives, and then, about half as good as that driving experience will be what a Jeep Wrangler feels like, okay? Absolutely terrible cars, in my opinion. Unless you're going to take these off-road, bad idea, probably will regret. Next up, we have 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder muscle cars. So the Mustang, Challenger, and Camaro in the Turbo 4 or 6-cylinder variants. Now, when you think of a traditional muscle car, obviously you think of a V8. And that's because the formula of a muscle car is kind of a bigger, heavier sports car that just has a lot of raw straight line power. But what happens when you take away that raw straight line power is you just have a bigger, heavier sports car, but without the engine to power it. Now, these smaller engine variants for these muscle cars sit around 300 horsepower in that range, which isn't bad at all. But these cars don't handle that well, so it needs to be fast because that's the whole appeal of these cars. So when they're not incredibly fast, you're left with a reasonably fast manual transmission, cool looking normal car. And at that point, if you're going to go for a smaller engine variant, something that's reasonably fast, you might as well go for a car that's designed to be a four banger. So any of the hot hatches, a BRZ, a Miata, any of those cars, because those will do the four-cylinder sports car formula better. Now, I do think these cars are still reasonable. I'm not going to hate on them because there are places for them. Some people just want the Mustang swag, a bit of speed. They don't really care about handling, and that's fair. I do think these cars are very overhated, but still, I think you'd be way better off getting a car that's meant to be a four-cylinder.
I just don't like the look of it. It just looks weird.
Sports car. For that reason,
I don't know.
I'm going to put them in coin toss. Next up, we have the entire brand of Land Rover. These cars are British cars, so they're going to be unreliable. They get a lot of hype because they're known as...
don't know shit about Land Rovers either.
Is kind of the SUV, the luxury SUV, so to speak. They get bought up by blonde moms in their 40s. But beneath that, cool looking exterior is an unreliable powertrain, plenty of electronic issues, and usually bad infotainment systems. So unless you're leasing these for a short term, would not recommend it at all. They're going to be incredibly unreliable, like all British cars. Oh, you hate British people, you hate British cars. Dude, I'm allowed to hate on British cars. I have the pass. My name's James, okay? Bad idea. Next up, we have Hellcats. Now, what Hellcats is...
Oh, I didn't even fucking start on Hellcats. Oh my god.
Essentially are these cheap American muscle cars, but with massive supercar level of horsepower motors in them. And the reason people get them is to get those high figures of horsepower, but for cheap. But there are a few issues here. First of all, they're not really that cheap. These cars are still pretty expensive.
They're like fucking 60, 70, 80 grand still. They're not even actually cheap. Like at all.
In the used market, considering they're kind of lower quality Mopar cars just with big engines. And secondly, the other costs to this car are killer. Insurance is known to be incredibly bad on these cars because of the high death rates, how often they're stolen, and their horsepower figures. And gas is absolutely killer. So if you think you're getting a super cheap bargain, high horsepower muscle.
I mean, to be honest, any V8 is crazy gas guzzler. So
with these cars, it's not that simple. I definitely think probably will regret is a stretch because a lot of people who buy these know what they're getting into, but probably a coin toss. Next up, we have the Ford Focus and Ford Fiesta from the 2012 to 2016 model years. And now these cars are incredibly specific, but they have a terrible flaw, and that is their transmission, the infamous PowerShift DCT transmission. This is known to be one of the worst transmissions. Ford faced lawsuits with this, so many recalls, just terrible transmissions that will fail on you, even if replaced.
I've heard a couple people with this, and I didn't know that they were shit.
Potentially. Now, why did it include such a specific entry? One, just one of the worst transmissions of all time. And two, the Ford Focus and Fiesta of these years are used compact cars, meaning they're tempting to someone who's trying to have a bit of a bargain. They're dressed up as these innocent, compact, cheap,
Okay, so pretend this is your car. Your insurance will pay for another one, right? Well, if you have a standard policy, maybe.
The safe option cars. So then my worry is a lot of people who don't know that much about cars or didn't do their research will go and buy these thinking they're getting the safe option, but will then get apps.
Yeah, I don't understand people who buy cars without doing all the research on it. Like, I feel like that's the bare minimum. I don't know.
Absolutely greased by one of the worst
I mean, I guess from like car people, they just want a car, you know what I mean? They're not really too concerned about what car it is or what troubles the car may give in the future. You know what I mean? They're not too concerned. They just want something.
Missions in history. Stay away from these cars or anything with the power shift transmission. In general, Ford's not a great buy. Life-ruining choice for sure. Next up, we have the Tesla Model Y or Model 3. A lot of people buy these cars because they want a cool, cheap, but kind of luxurious and super techy, fast electric car, right? Something that can do all those things. And honestly, these cars do all those things well. Yes, have they had quality control issues before? Absolutely. But most of these have been ironed out. And honestly, these are one of the go-to electric cars. Please don't yell at me for the politics of...
they're just boring. It's just really boring. I mean, I don't know, bro. I've never been in a Tesla. They look cool, seem cool, but they won't ever compare it to like an actual car. You know what I mean?
Whatever is going on with Elon.
Because I'm pretty sure their charge doesn't last as much as a full tank of gas would. So
I don't follow that. I don't care. I'm looking at the car objectively. That's all I'm doing. The 3 and Y are honestly good choices if you're shopping within that segment. You won't regret it. Next up, and you're probably surprised to see this car on the list here, but it is the Miata. Now, the reason I have this car here is because as I was doing research for this video and seeing what kind of cars people maybe had issues with before, I went to a Reddit thread and I came across the Miata, and a lot of people agreed with a guy saying he regretted buying his Miata. And I am here to say that that is absolutely false. You will not regret these cars.
Miata's got to be like the most fun you'll ever have in any type of car. It's just like driving like a tiny little go-kart.
I know. I bought one just for the sake of this video. That's a lie. I bought one because I wanted one, and I have not regretted it. Absolutely one of the best cars you can buy. Incredibly fun to drive. One of the best behind the wheel experiences you can have. Reliable, simple to work on, non-interference engine, cheap to run and maintain, relatively cheap to insure, incredible cars. Next up, we have the Nissan Rogue. Now, I'm picking this car as a random one out of the Nissan lineup, but I'm using it as an example. And it's an example that people fall victim to buying these cars when there are so many better options that won't have a crap transmission, kind of like the Ford Focus and Fiesta up here. Essentially, if you're unaware, the Nissan CVTs are absolutely terrible, constantly breaking down on newer cars, terrible feeling. And in this segment of compact crossovers like the Nissan Rogue is in, you have many heavy hitters like the RAV4, like the CRV, and like the Mazda CX-5. You're better off with going with one of those. Any Nissan with a CVT, so pretty much all of them, is not a good pick. Definitely putting these in bad idea. Next up, we have Maseratis. Anyone, if you are buying these cars new, you're going to get hit with a 2008 financial crisis level of depreciation. This car will lose half its value in a year or something around that. They're the worst depreciating cars today. And if you're buying them used thinking, I'm going to grab them after they depreciated, I've beat the system. You're also wrong. They're Italian cars. Their maintenance is going to be through the roof, and they're going to be unreliable. In my opinion, no matter what angle you look at it, life-ruining choice.
But they seem cool, so
Finally, a very general one, we have the first year of any redesigned car. This is pretty common knowledge to avoid redesigns of cars because often they'll have a new transmission, new engine, new something that's a major component of the car, and there won't be any long-term reliability data on the
first redesign of a car.
These cars. Unless the car literally just got like a new shell, like a redesigned look, I would highly recommend avoiding the first model year of a new generation of car. And if anything, it's actually a good idea to go for the previous year, the last year of the older generation, because you can get insane deals here. Let's say car X got a redesign for the 2027 model year. If the dealer has any 2026 car X's, they will be absolutely desperate to get rid of them and will give you a great discount. So yeah, overall, definitely a bad idea to buy the new year of a car. Understand, nobody cares if you have the newest car. Does not matter. Not worth the risk. If you enjoyed this video, thank you. Thank you.
It's pretty W list. Coin toss. I won't regret it. Probably regret it. Bad idea. I feel like it depends on the BMW. But then again, if you're also not a car person, I would understand why. Shitty transmission, just overall expensive. This one, I'm pretty sure he said he had a shitty transmission too. I don't know. It's not bad though. It's not a bad list. I think I would mostly agree.